Hello, I'm Jerry Hall, Brumfield Elementary 5th grade science teacher, and welcome to episode 9 of Science at Home with Mr. Hall, where we try to learn some basic science using things you might find around your house. So today we're going to talk about water. Now, water is a relatively boring drink, but it's actually a very fascinating substance. Chemistry is the study of matter. It's the study of what everything is made of. And water is something called a compound. Now, a compound is a substance that has different elements chemically joined. Now, the elements that join together to make water are hydrogen and oxygen, H2O. So, water can do some really amazing things. Water molecules are actually attracted to each other. So I want to use a couple things to demonstrate this. So I've got a mason jar here. Okay, mason jars are the things that you can remove the part of the lid. And in this measuring glass is just some water. So I'm going to pour that in the mason jar. Okay. So next thing I want to do is I want to take anything flat. It can be a note card, or in this case it's just a lid from a Tupperware thing. And I'm going to turn this over. Now, you may think you've seen this trick before, but my 5th graders have, but maybe you haven't yet. So I'm going to go ahead and take away the covering. Now, that would seem rather impossible, wouldn't it? It would seem like, okay, how the heck is, I watched him pour that in there, how is that happening? Well, this is a trick that involves water molecules' ability to be attracted to each other. So what I didn't show you is, what I put on here is a screen. So that screen is tight right there in that hole. And in between that screen are little holes. So the screen has little holes in it. But the water molecules are clinging to each other, so they provide a barrier so the water actually doesn't come out of the glass. This is the same thing that happens when it rains and the water clings to your screen like this. Water molecules cling together and they close the gap between each of those tiny holes in your screen. So that's kind of what's going on here. It didn't happen as much on this part of the screen, but it happened over here. So water molecules are attracted to each other in that way, which is really very, very cool. And so when I turn it just a little bit to the sideways, it breaks that seal, and the water all pours right back out again. So, just a screen. So, for you guys to try this at home, I thought we would do something with pennies. So, you can use any coins, but I like to start with pennies. So, pennies are made of copper. These are my lab assistants. Liam, what grade are you in?
Third.
3rd grade. Who's your teacher?
Miss Reese.
Miss Reese at Brumfield, right? What grade are you in? Kindergarten. Who is your teacher? Miss Carter, Miss H. Yep. And so he's at Brumfield too. So I'm going to give you guys each a penny, and what you're going to do is you're going to use these eyedroppers, and you're going to try to drop as many drops on this penny as possible. So I'm going to demonstrate here, and then I'm going to let you guys get started. So you want to try to make your drops around the same size. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so you guys go ahead and take an eyedropper and go ahead and get started. See if you can do that. All right. So keep it real low and try to drop as many on there without spilling it over the side as you can. Count the drops as you go.
I don't know how many.
It looks like about 3.
6.
And we'll come back and check on them in a minute. Okay, so this one's got about 20 drops on it. Julian, how many did you say yours had on it here?
Maybe 5.
Nah, it was more than that. I think you had like 16.
Yeah.
Now, if you practice at this, you get really, really good at it. Notice how it looks like a bubble on top of the penny. But what's really happening is the water molecules have a tendency to cling to each other, and see, the wind just broke that and it came off. So it broke that bond in between there. You also see this effect on a freshly waxed car. The wax repels the water by nature, and so then the water molecules come together and because they're attracted to each other, and they form these beads of water on the car. And water molecules cling to each other, which is why this experiment works. So go ahead and try this at home and let me know on the comments how it went. See if maybe you can change a variable like a different coin or maybe a different liquid, and see if it works the same way. Thank you for joining me on episode 9 of Science at Home with Mr. Hall, and as always, science is all around us.